Hey everybody, it's Kristen with A Mindful Mom. I want to welcome you into my kitchen and to day one of the Instant Pot Challenge. I'm going to drop a few links just to get everybody up to speed and give everybody a minute to join in. If you're watching, comment, say hello. Feel free to ask questions. We have a lot to cover today, but I'm super excited to get started. Okay, so let me just go ahead and get the links up. And I can tell you, if you watch till the end, we have a very special announcement and maybe a giveaway. So that's incentive to listen in. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead and drop the links of everything you need. Here, we're so excited to start this Instant Pot Challenge. We've been hearing from so many of you guys that you're super excited to be here. Michelle, hello, thanks for joining in. My co-host, Michelle, is joining in from Colorado. She's with Thriving on Paleo. Normally, for the remainder of the week, I'll be going live at 10 a.m. Eastern, and she'll be going live at noon Eastern Standard Time, just to kind of give you guys different perspectives and different recipes. Today we're covering so much that we are just going to stick to just me today. So we're doing Instant Pot 101, answering all those questions that you may have about your Instant Pot. Hopefully we can cover most of the basics here. One more thing. For those of you who normally join me live on Sundays at 3. Layla says hello. She misses you guys today, but she's not an Instant Pot expert. So she decided to sit this one out, but she will be back next Sunday, and she wanted me all to say hello. Oh, hello, Heather. Thanks for joining us. There are so many people who need all things Instant Pot, so we're excited about covering all your questions. Okay, one more thing here, and then we are good to go. All right, so let's get started. Feel free, like I said, I am watching your comments come in, so there's a little bit of a delay, but I will try to answer them as best as I can and as quickly as I can. And if you haven't already joined this Instant Pot Week sign up, the challenge, go ahead, there's a link in the description of the post. Join that, and we will give you the video replays, emails with like tips and things that you might not think of, and just kind of go over everything that we covered. Hello, Allison. Thanks so much for joining. Okay, so I've had a lot of questions this week. Some of you are on the fence about getting an Instant Pot. Some of you have an Instant Pot but are scared to use it. Some of you have used it and not really liked it, not been happy with the results, and some of you love it. And I'm in the boat where I love it. But what's my favorite part of using it, Heather? Well, if you know much about me with A Mindful Mom, I love to cook from scratch. And I don't always have the time or remember to make my dried beans, to make chicken stock, to make chicken, to thaw out my meat. Sometimes I forget to plan those things out. So what hooked me with the Instant Pot was when I made Instant Pot dried beans in an hour, and I didn't soak them overnight. From start to finish, from the time the pressure came up to the time I could have my beans ready to go, an hour. And anybody that wants to eat healthier or frugal, it's just making your dried beans alone was enough for me to fall in love with the Instant Pot. Yogurt, I was on the fence about trying yogurt in my Instant Pot for a long time. I was like, oh, that takes forever. And it does take long, but the yogurt is more cost effective and the taste is so much better. So we're gonna be sharing that later on the week. Because like I said, this is gonna be a week-long training of all things Instant Pot. And no, you don't have to catch us live. We will send you those videos later via email, so you can be sure to sign up for our emails and you'll get all these videos. So if you're working or you just miss us, or maybe it's something you've already mastered, so you want to watch, one on yogurt, but you don't need one on chicken breasts. So you can skip that one if you'd like. But we have an incentive for you to watch them. Okay, so let's get started. Hey, Angela, thanks so much for joining us. Okay, yes, the first thing first, your Instant Pot, the lid. The lid comes with, it has sealing rings, and you just pop them on. It comes sealed already, and it comes with a clear ring, which I have, and you just pop it on, just tuck it underneath the rim here. Let's see if you can see this. Like that. Most of the time, when you go to clean your Instant Pot, you don't need to take this inner ring off unless you were making something like chili or beans where like some of the starch would get up in this ring. But it just seals in like that. I have a red, a clear, and a blue one, but I do a lot of Instant Pot cooking. But I love this red and blue Instant Pot inner ring because the blue I use for desserts and yogurt, so that the red I use for savory dishes like chili and meat. And that way, you know how like on your slow cooker, the smell will like get trapped on the rings sometimes. And I'm gonna go over a great way to clean it in a bit. But this is a great way too that I just, especially for yogurt, when I'm making plain yogurt and I want the taste so pure, this blue ring really helps, these colored rings. So we'll get to how to clean your Instant Pot here in a little bit. I also, if you sign up for the Instant Pot Week Challenge, today's email that goes out will have a freebie with like an Instant Pot care. So it'll give you all the steps and break it down for you, so you don't have to remember this later. Okay, the other parts of the lid that I wanted to go over are right here. This is called the anti-shield valve. This like helps no liquid get up in your little ring here, the venting knob. Okay, it protects that. And then here's your floating valve, and that's what floats up to hold your pressure. Now, you can take this apart when you're cleaning, and I recommend doing that like every couple weeks or so, or just when you really, really have been using your Instant Pot a lot, and you want to make sure that there's nothing stuck in here. That can change the sealing, the pressure. It can change, like if you find your Instant Pot isn't coming to pressure, it could be that your inner ring is not sealed well. It could be that there's some junk that's gotten caked up in this floating valve. Hi, Luann, thanks so much for joining us. So when you take it apart to clean, be careful, you don't want to lose this little guy. They do sell replacements on Amazon, but I just drop these in a little glass jar with this and some soap, hot soapy water, wash them, dry them, put them back immediately on the lid. That's easy. And then they attach all back on. Just, you just pop the valve lid on, pop in your little floating valve here, and that again will tell you, like, will rise up when your Instant Pot has reached pressure. Okay. And then I want to show you guys too how to put on your lid, because as Michelle has shared with you, if you've signed up for our emails, putting the lid on can be a nightmare at times. And there have been times that even after using this thing several times a week, the lid just doesn't want to go on for me and I get frustrated. And if you know me, I don't have a lot of patience. The best thing to do is take a deep breath, put your lid on, put the back of the lid where the floating valve is towards the back of your Instant Pot, away from the buttons on the other side. And you're just going to kind of let it, twist it down. Watch it be difficult for me right now while I'm on the video. If it doesn't want to twist, pick it up and turn it again, and it's not going to go in because I don't have my, whoop. You guys got to look in the kitchen. You saw the lights, the special video lights. Sorry about that. Okay, so the sealing ring is in. If your lid does not want to go on, that's a good tip. Check to make sure that your sealing ring is completely installed. Mine was not, so it was never going to go in. Yeah, it's perfect. Now we're going to pop it on, and boom, there you go. So you just twist and open, twist and open. So when you go to open your Instant Pot after cooking in it, now since we're talking about opening the lid, I'm going to go over that with you. Most things that you use in your Instant Pot, you're going to have your vent, the knob, up towards seal. And in my post that I have in here, I have all the diagrams too. So if you can't see something clearly, you can take a look at my post, the Instant Pot 101 post, and it will go through, you know, or point out all these little pieces and parts so you can remember them too. But most of your functions, you're gonna want your valve towards sealed. That's the magic of the pressure cooker, is that it seals the pressure in, okay? You can vent, like when you're making yogurt, it really doesn't matter where that is. If you want to steam something, sometimes you're going to leave it to vent. But for most intents and purposes, your knob is going to be towards sealed when you want to cook. So when you want to release the pressure in your Instant Pot and get your food that's been cooking inside your Instant Pot out, you need the pressure to release in order to open this. And your little floating valve, the little silver button, will have floated up to the top when pressure's reached. And that's when the timing and the countdown will start to come down. So once the pressure is reached, that pressure needs to come down after the cooking time for you to be able to get in here. And you'll hear two terms a lot, NPR and QR. NPR is natural pressure release and QR is quick release. So most of your recipes will tell you, should it be quick release? Should it be a natural pressure release? Hi Don, thanks so much for joining in. Well, you don't want to do quick release on anything with a lot of liquid or high starch like rice or beans. And that's just because they need that time, that pressure just to kind of come down naturally so that they can settle in and not spew out starchy liquid all through this vent, which I've tried before. It's not pretty, like starchy rice liquid over my ceiling. Disgusting. So don't do that. So if your recipe says to let it naturally release, be sure to let it naturally release. And depending on the volume inside your Instant Pot, it can take anywhere from 10 to 30 minutes. Tough cuts of meat, you definitely want to let them be a natural release. And that's going to help that, sort of like when you let a meat roast rest before you slice into it, you definitely want to let the meat kind of rest inside the Instant Pot before you try to change the pressure in there, which will toughen up the meat. And nobody wants tough meat. So that's another great tip. A small chicken breast, you can definitely do a quick release. So quick release means you want to force the pressure out of your Instant Pot so that you can open it up. Okay, well, pressure's built up. That's where people get scared of pressure cookers, is what if that pressure, I don't want that pressure to release on me and burn me. And you can get burned with an electric pressure cooker. Not as severely as a stovetop, but you definitely don't ever want to like stand over the venting knob. When you're releasing pressure, the best thing to do if you want to do a quick release is to put a towel over and then use a wooden spoon so you're not going to burn your hand. Step away and then use your wooden spoon to kind of knock it out so that the pressure will quick release, and you'll hear it. It'll, and all the pressure will come down. Then your little silver floating valve will go back down, and you can open open up your lid, okay? So that's really important too. Make sure that there's no kids standing around, no dogs standing around when you release that, just in case some of the pressure or some of the steam were to escape the towel, that way you just keep everybody safe from being burned. Okay, another part of the Instant Pot that I want to show you while we're back here, this is the condensation cup. Pops on and off. You'll notice, like, after cooking rice or beans, that's when I find that this gets a little bit fuller, or if you overfill your Instant Pot by a little bit much, and so it's trying to release some of the water boiling up over. And again, you just clean this in hot soapy water. Don't put this in the dishwasher. This is not dishwasher safe. Your sealing ring is dishwasher safe on the top rack. And your inner pot. This is your inner pot of your Instant Pot. Stainless steel, it can go into the dishwasher, but I find that it washes really, really easy in just hot soapy water too. So, no problem. Another thing, your Instant Pot says max fill, and it's this line up here. That does not mean max fill for pressure cooking, and that's really, really important. If you were going to fill this up to the top with dried beans, you would not be able to have enough room for the pressure to build to properly cook. So your Instant Pot would not reach pressure. So if you're finding it's not reaching pressure, one thing, make sure it's sealed right. Make sure there's no little food particles trapped, and make sure that you haven't overfilled it. Okay, Luan, you don't have that on yours. Okay, you don't have the condensation cup. If you want to let me know what you don't have, I'll try to address that here. So for most things, you're going to fill it 2/3 of the way full, which if you have a 16 cup, or this is here, like this one here is, let's see, Luann, let's see. She doesn't have that. Okay. If, 6 liters, so you're going to fill it to 4 liters, no more than that. If you're cooking something starchy like rice or beans, you're only going to fill it half the way full. Okay, Luann, I don't know which model you have. Every model is a little bit different. If yours doesn't have a condensation cup, then that must not be something that you have to worry about. For those of you that have this little cup on there, it's just if there were to be some excess liquid, and that typically only comes if you overfill it, or if you have something really, really starchy, it'll collect some starchy water. But typically, you're not gonna find that even if you have this, you're not gonna see much in it. But always when you're cleaning it, just check to make sure if you have this condensation cup that it's clean and empty. And if you need to wash it, put it in hot soapy water. No problem. Okay, and then if you take it off, it just snaps right back on, just like that. So, easy peasy. Okay, another thing. Oh, Michelle, the cup is a new feature. So if you don't have it, don't worry, your Instant Pot will still work great. They probably just added this to models after some people were struggling with overfilling it. So as long as you remember, half full for anything starchy like dried beans or rice, and 2/3 of the way full for all other things, for liquids. When I make a whole chicken in here, I can fill it almost to the max line because it's not filled with liquid. So it's only gonna have a cup of liquid to build up that pressure. Which brings me to my next point. A cup of liquid is recommended for all pressure cooking. They say a half a cup, but I have found the most success using 1 cup of liquid for every recipe. So that means that if you're making soup, obviously you're gonna have, several cups of chicken stock or beef stock or vegetable stock or water, so you'll be fine. You don't need to add any additional liquid. But if you're making like a whole chicken, or we're gonna cover how to cook frozen ground beef in a couple days, that doesn't have water. So what do you do then? You use a little trivet. Most Instant Pot models come with this. If not, you can order one to fit yours on Amazon. And you set it inside your inner pot, and then you pour a cup of water. And you set whatever you want to cook on top of this little rack. So even if you're using what's called pot-in-pot method, you need a cup, an additional cup of liquid to bring your pressure, to reach temperature, to reach pressure on your pressure cooker. So pot-in-pot, or PIP, is just that. It means to cook in a pot inside the bigger pot, inside your inner pot. You always, 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 always need your inner pot. Do not put anything else inside this Instant Pot except your inner pot. Don't ever pour liquid in it. I made that mistake with an electric ice cream maker once. I poured the liquid in without the basin and I ruined my ice cream maker. And these appliances are not cheap. So I always leave the lid off until my inner pot is in here so that I don't accidentally take the lid off and like mindlessly dump things in. So that's my trick, to always make sure that the inner pot is in there and that I don't accidentally pour anything in. Okay, so, but back to the pot and pot. So let's say you want to make cheesecake or creme brulee. I have some of those recipes coming up. Or lasagna. You can make that quickly by using another pot. You want to make sure that it's heat safe, Pyrex glass, like have the oven safe dishes. Those are good for your Instant Pot. This one is a stainless steel. If you search on Amazon, you can even just put pot in pot for Instant Pot, and so many of them will come up. Lasagna. Okay, I'll take requests. Lasagna is gonna have to be a must for the Instant Pot. I have made some baked ziti in it. And so you just put your little rack in, pour your 1 cup of water. Again, most people will tell you half a cup is necessary. I'm gonna tell you that a cup will work better than a half a cup. And that's from lots and lots of trial and error. And then you just place your next pot inside, place your inner pot in your Instant Pot and seal it. Okay, so that was pot and pot. We talked about the rack and how you would use that to place a whole chicken on it, meat on it, potatoes, baked potatoes and sweet potatoes. You don't submerge those in water, but your Instant Pot still needs water to reach pressure. So you use the rack, to make your potatoes and sweet potatoes. Again, I'll go over potatoes and sweet potatoes on Tuesday, and they are not equal. Do not believe anybody that tells you that a sweet potato will cook as fast as a baked potato. It just won't. Okay, but now we need to talk about, okay, we've figured out all the pieces and parts of our Instant Pot. Good, Luann, I'm glad you always use a cup. It just works better. Now we need to talk about these buttons. And everybody has different buttons on their Instant Pot based on the model that you have. Basically, they're just fancy preset by Instant Pot Company. So if you were to hit this and say Poultry, it would be like 12 minutes or something. Well, okay, that might work for frozen chicken breasts, but that's not going to work for fresh chicken breasts. So it's just preset. It's a fancy way to say high pressure for the amount of time. And I want to get this so that you can see it light up here. So just give me 1 second. Okay, let's see if we can get this to light up. Of course, I don't have any plugs right here, but basically I want to go over, you have soup, meat stew, bean chili, poultry. Okay, those are all just preset. guesstimates on what you're putting in there. So most meat might take 25 minutes. Most soup, they're gonna set it at like 60 minutes. Okay, that's just Instant Pot's guess. Bean and chili is set at 90 minutes. Okay, if you're gonna make dried beans in your Instant Pot, you don't have to hit the bean function. You're gonna follow, I have a recipe, you're gonna follow the recipe, or Instant Pot has a cooking time guide, and I'm gonna send you guys that link later today. And all you have to do is you adjust your pressure here, and you can adjust it to low or high. Make sure that the red button is lit up here. And then you're going to you just adjust plus or minus to your time. So if it says 20 minutes and you want 25, you adjust it up. And I'm gonna see here. Hey Garrett. I'm just gonna call my husband and get him to get an extension cord so we can get this working. Hang on. Can you get me an extension cord stack? Okay, sorry. You don't need to see what this lit up, but I think it will help. So my husband's gonna get an extension cord, so excuse him while he sneaks in here for a minute. Okay, but basically, you wanna be able to control your cooking time. You don't want Instant Pot to tell you the cooking time. You wanna control it because your chicken is gonna be different than my chicken. So if you have big chicken, you're gonna want to make sure that you cook it longer if your chicken breasts are large or if your chicken breasts are small. So you want to make sure that you can control it. Rice is the only one that's preset at a low pressure. This is a funny story. My mom was making Instant Pot baked potatoes, followed my recipe, and she was like, it didn't work. So I troubleshot with her. Did you have enough? Did you use 1 cup water? Did you use at least 4 potatoes? Did you do blah, 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 blah? We went through everything. She's like, yes, I did. So the next day she said, I'm gonna make it again. Kristen, I'm gonna follow your directions. So she hit rice, or she was saying, I'm cooking it for 12 minutes. I'm cooking it for 12 minutes, just like you said. But she was hitting rice, and rice is set at low pressure. So she had just seen that I said 12 minutes and rice came preset for 12 minutes. So she thought that it was an even exchange, and it's not. That's why I kind of avoid all these buttons, because you really only need to be able to manually control it. Look, we have an extension cord. I'm sorry that this is not already done. Now it's not gonna, all right, let's see here. Now it's not a 3-prong one. So we're just gonna pretend, I'm sorry. Again, basically you have low pressure, you have high pressure. You can adjust this by hitting the pressure button and it will adjust for you. You can change the time by the plus or the minus button. And you can hit manual, and that will be able, just your manual button, and you'll be able to change it. If you were to hit soup and you wanted to change the time, soup is at high pressure, you would just press the down button and change the time. If you wanted to hit, poultry for chicken, then you would adjust it. Rice is set for 12 minutes, and that's for white rice. If you're using multigrain rice, you don't have to have a multigrain rice function. You just want to cook it at high pressure. So high pressure is, oh, thanks Camille, so sorry. I have a million outlets, and the one that I can talk from, the Instant Pot doesn't reach. And because it's a powerful little thing, it has a 3-prong, and my husband brought me an extension cord that doesn't have a 3-prong outlet. No. What do you do with them? Okay, assuming all your recipes give pressure level and amount of minutes. Yes. Okay, that's another thing. So I'm going to send you an email today, Instant Pot cooking timesheet. So it's going to tell you on their like chicken thighs, their recommended time. So you can go in and you can change it. Don't trust a recipe if it doesn't tell you a time. So all of my recipes will have time and it'll say high pressure, low pressure, whatever. A person who's experimented with recipes in the Instant Pot shouldn't just say hit poultry button and walk away. They should give you the amount of time. So just know if a recipe says poultry, it means high pressure, but you shouldn't have to remember all that. People should give you that these little buttons are high pressure, low pressure. You're gonna cook at high pressure, you're gonna cook at low pressure. The other thing you're gonna do is hit saute. Like if you wanted to ground up beef in here first, you could hit saute. Your little screen will say high once it hits temperature, or hot, depending on your brand. And that means you can go ahead and start to saute your meat up or whatever, your vegetables up. And then you can switch it off and go to manual and high pressure after you put in everything else that you want to cook. So there's a saute function. Some Instant Pots have yogurt functions, some do not. I cannot walk you through how to make yogurt in an Instant Pot without a yogurt button, because the yogurt button is a special incubation period that the Instant Pot is set at. It's not low pressure, it's not high pressure. So that's the only button that if you don't have it, you really can't use your Instant Pot for yogurt successfully. At least not to my knowledge. Let's see. The other button I want to cover though is slow cook. So I've had a lot of people say, I've used my Instant Pot, I don't have a slow cooker anymore. I used my Instant Pot, I hit slow cook, and the slow cooker didn't work like my slow cooker worked. Because slow cook button is not created equal. And I have it written down in the email later for you so that you can convert your recipes. But low on the slow cooker function, if you hit it, it'll say less, normal, or more, or low, medium, high. Low is not low on a slow cooker. It reaches the temperature that a slow cooker does for keep warm, okay? So if you put chicken in here, raw chicken, and you want it to cook 8 hours all day, it's just gonna keep it warm. It's never gonna cook it to a safe temperature. Oh, Luann, yours has 12 minutes for potatoes. Perfect. Mine does not come with the potato buttons, but my recipe for baked potatoes will walk you through in a couple days. It's 12 minutes. 12 minutes is always perfect for me, but it's on high pressure, not low pressure. So because people were seeing that rice was set for 12 minutes, they felt like they could just hit the rice button and it was the same, and it's not. So how the delay button works. Okay. So let's say you want to set something in here and then you go ahead and you program it for the way that you want it to cook. Then you're going to hit the timer or the delay button, and depending on your model, so it'll either say timer or delay, and then you time it for when you want it to start. So if you want to delay it by 3 hours, let's say you want it to cook at 4 o'clock or to be done at 4, then you set it and you want it to start cooking at 3, and you put it in at noon. Then you could say like delay time for 3 hours. You have to remember what you're making in here. So if you want to make rice in here and you want to set it for it to be hot by the time you get home from work, you could put it in and set delay time for 12 hours or 8 hours or whenever, so that the rice is ready for you. Don't do that with raw meat. That's just like leaving raw chicken out on the counter for 12 hours. That's not safe. I would never do it more than 2 hours, and personally probably no more than an hour. But so just remember that the set delay is great for things that are kind of shelf stable. Rice, beans, potatoes. That would be a great one to come home to a warm baked potato. Once your Instant Pot's done cooking, it will keep it warm. So you could put the raw chicken in, set it, leave it, and then let it keep it warm all day, and that would be safe. So that would be the better option if you were trying to cook meat in the morning before you left for work. I hope that made sense. Okay, I'm looking over my notes. I had a lot I wanted to cover with you guys. Go ahead, feel free to ask any more questions that you might have. I want to go over how to clean it. Now, if you sign up for the Instant Pot Challenge, I will be sending you today a PDF on how to properly care for your Instant Pot. Most pieces, you just wash in warm soapy water. Most of the times you use the lid, you're just going to do wash it in soapy water and dry it, and then do that. Okay. Oh, yes. Sherry, you cooked 4 regular sized baking potatoes at normal high pressure for 12 minutes and they weren't completely tender. Okay, so again, it's subject. Even the ones that have a potato button, if you get the Costco potatoes, there's no way they would be done in 12 minutes. They would take at least 22 to 25 minutes. If you are doing potato, like, so this is based, 12 minutes is based on, you know, just a potato like that, kind of a softball sized potato. So you definitely, if it's a larger potato, more than 12 minutes, I would adjust by 2 minutes and give it a try. What happens if you open and your potatoes aren't done, you stick a fork in it and they're not done, put the lid back on and set it for high pressure for 2 to 4 minutes, and then do a quick release and check again. So, and it won't take as long for it to come up to pressure after the second time, if that makes sense, because your Instant Pot's already warmed up. Okay, back to cooking. That reminds me of cooking time. Don't judge a recipe by the cooking time. So the recipe total time is going to take time to come to pressure, cooking time, plus release time. So that's how I try to determine my total recipe times. Oh, sure, no problem, Sherry. So like, if I'm making baked potatoes in the Instant Pot, it usually comes to pressure in less than 10 minutes. A pound of chicken, less than 10 minutes. And then the cooking time. And then those are both quick release items. So I can be done in under 20 minutes or 25 minutes, depending on the size of my chicken, or potatoes, depending on how many potatoes and how big they are. But if I'm making soup in here or rice in here, I have to take the time it comes to pressure, 10 minutes, the time that it cooks, let's say we're cooking white rice, 12 minutes, and then the time to release. And with rice, you want to let it naturally release. And depending on the amount, the time that it takes to release is going to vary upon the amount you put in your Instant Pot. So if you fill it halfway full, as full as I recommend with rice, it's going to take maybe 20 minutes to come down and for you to be able to release the lid. So that's something to keep in mind too. Soup, I've had it take 30 minutes before it would let me release pressure. After 20 minutes, you're usually quick to do a quick release. But again, that's something you want to do carefully with a towel over it, kind of test it. If it's spewing out a lot, you might just want to say forget it and move the knob back and let it continue to rest. Okay, do you press cancel? Oh no, you do not need to press cancel at all for the natural pressure release. It will do it on its own. So once the cooking time is done, it will do it on its own, and it will naturally release the pressure, and then it will hold it at keep warm. So that's a great question. If you want to do quick release, you don't have to press cancel either. You can unplug it, you can press cancel, or you can just go ahead and do the quick release. It doesn't really matter. Another question I get asked a lot is it necessary to do the water pressure test that the manual tells you to? That depends on your level of comfort. It's really just to make sure your Instant Pot's working right, and it's just to help familiarize yourself with the Instant Pot. So if this is brand new to you, if it's still a little intimidating after watching these videos, then by all means, do the water pressure test and just get yourself familiar. It takes minutes, so it's not a big deal. And your Instant Pot, your manual will go over how to do that. Just just so that you get really comfortable using your Instant Pot before you cook with it and ruin food in it or whatever. Another thing, if you are making something with like tomato paste, you want to put the tomato paste at the top and not mix it in, because tomato paste can burn in the pressure cooker if you're just putting it right in your inner pot. Same with high levels of cornstarch. That doesn't work well in the Instant Pot. And what would happen is your screen would start to say burn alert, like burn, and it's saying, hey, we're signaling this cannot safely cook. And then you would do a cancel, let it release, and have to take it out and cook it on the stove or whatever. But if you layer in correctly, according to most recipes, you should not have that problem. And finally, let me go over the cleaning. So again, you're just gonna take out your inner pot, wash it in soapy water. It's dishwasher safe. You can put it in your dishwasher. You used a pot and pot, you would clean that pot. You used a rack, this is dishwasher safe. Also, you can just clean it with easily with a brush. Sometimes I find if I'm cooking ground beef on it, frozen ground beef, it gets a little harder to clean naturally, or just, with a soap and sponge. So I'll stick it in the top rack of the dishwasher. No big deal. So you clean that up. If your lid's dirty, you take it apart and clean it like I showed. Remember to just place the little pieces in a glass jar, not your sink, so they don't go down your drain, and then immediately dry them and put them back on your lid so that you don't lose them. If you lose them, there are replacement parts, but nobody wants to have to wait for a replacement part or pay for one. On the inside, you never want to put water in this. You can kind of wipe it down if something were to spill in it with just a very, very light damp cloth. Around the edge here can get kind of nasty and crusty, and that can affect the lid going on smoothly. So you can use a little nipple bottle brush and just kind of go around it. You can use a butter knife and then cover it with a paper towel like this and kind of go under, and then just discard the paper towel. You could do that with a kitchen rag too, like just put your kitchen rag in it. You can use a paintbrush, like a sponge paintbrush is a great thing to kind of get up and under and clean. And that's as simple as that. But what do you do when your inner ring gets really smelly and you only have one, you don't have three like I do, and you want to make yogurt and you don't want your yogurt smelling like chili? Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to take your ring off, and again, it just pops off like that. And you're gonna submerge it into hot soapy water. That works. And then dry it. But if it's really grimy, I'd put it in a large bowl, set it in, boiling water with 1 tablespoon of vinegar and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. It's like a science experiment. It's gonna fizzle up, and all of that baking soda and vinegar is going to work its magic. Vinegar and baking soda both neutralize odors. So that's going to help. And that's all. Then you're going to dry it and put it in. Or denture cleaner. Instead of baking soda and vinegar, you can use denture cleaning tablets. You just pop a tablet in with your inner ring and then pour boiling water over it, and it's as simple as that. But vinegar and baking soda are natural. I've tested both because I wanted to let you guys know which works better. The vinegar and baking soda and the denture tablets are a winning thing. Yes, baking soda and vinegar are my go-tos. If you guys were in last week, you saw that I use vinegar, rubbing alcohol too is like one of my natural disinfectant cleaners. Like, I'm all about, if you can use natural, all the better. Okay, thank you guys so much. This was so much information, and it's probably a little overwhelming. The rest of the week, we're gonna break it into manageable recipes. Tomorrow, we're gonna talk about chicken. I'm gonna be on at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I'm gonna talk about a whole chicken and chicken breast fresh and frozen. And then at noon Eastern, Thriving on Paleo, Michelle on Thriving on Paleo, she'll be on her page and she's going to be making bone broth. And then we'll move in the rest of the week. We have potatoes, desserts, dishes with a lot of flavor. And as a thank you for those of you who have subscribed and watched this whole video, if you go to Thriving on Paleo /giveaway, you can enter to win an Instant Pot. It's a great gift to give. I'm not opposed to having 2 or 3 at home so that I can have my rice going and have my meal going at the same time. So all you're going to do is you're going to go to thrivingonpaleo.com /giveaway, and then there's going to be, you're going to enter in a special word each day so that we know that you watch this. Today's word is denture, for denture cleaners. So today's word's denture. Be sure to enter. You can enter every single day. We'll have a different word each day. So subscribe, enter the word, and good luck. Thank you so much for joining. Please do not hesitate to ask me any questions. Sorry about the buttons not lighting up for us today. Nature of live TV. But take care. Thanks so much for being here. I'll be sending out an email with all the highlights, with the Instant Pot Care PDF so you can print it off and have it, and it'll walk you through what to do with the floating valve and the knob and how to clean all of that so you don't have to remember. But we're so grateful for you guys to be here, and I am excited to see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye.